Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Glad that you are here. Hey, Steve. Steve from Woodstock. Always give everybody until 8:03 to get logged in. So we're going to take the time to get our chat set. Hey, Beth. Glad you're back tonight. We're going to get our chat set to all panelists and attendees. So if you don't mind, please set your chat to all panelists and attendees. Hey, Debbie. Debbie from Dalton. Welcome. We are glad that you are here. So yes, while we are waiting, please make sure that you tell us hello and let me know if you were here last night. I recognize some names, but I don't recognize all. Hey, Keisha. Hey, I'm glad you're here. That's awesome. Good. And it looks like, and you may have already done this, Beth, but Beth and Keisha, if y'all don't mind, set your chat to all panelists and attendees for me. Hey, Judy Clements from Marietta. Awesome. Here last night. Very good. Good. It's important that you have come back for the second night. The second night is ultra important. We're going to be talking food and how to put these things together and why you're going to put things together. Awesome, Debbie. Good, Beth. Good. Hey, Tamara from Orlando here last night. Yes, awesome. Steve was on the call last night. Hey, Heather and Robbie. Hey, Robbie. Second night. Awesome. Good. Did anybody have a perfect day today? I'm hoping that you did. Hey, Harriet, checking in. That's awesome. Yes, Beth did. Yes, Steve did. Judy did. Keisha did. Awesome. Robbie did. Heather did. Awesome. Oh, my goodness. That is awesome. Super, super exciting. Fantastic. I love that. So, in your journal, when you marked a perfect day, if you looked over at your timing chart, you saw a green check. Okay, and Harriet's starting tomorrow. So, it'll be Harriet's first day tomorrow. Good. Awesome. I had a perfect day as well. And I was telling people at class tonight, it is and can be easy for me to just decide that I want to eat whatever I want to when I want to. And this is why I cling to the Shibboleth lifestyle like I do, because it's important. I love and need the structure and the guidance and the guidelines. Hey, Debbie officially began on Friday. Anniversary number 42 is Wednesday. Have already made plans. Hey, that's okay. It's just a holiday. Just a holiday. No reason not to have a perfect day tomorrow, though, okay? But congratulations on your anniversary. That's awesome. That is awesome. Way to go. And Beth said that is excited about it where I was confused last time with food combinations. I'm glad that it's coming around. Good. Good. This should be coming around for you, Beth. Good. And if you have any questions, don't quit asking them until you understand. That's the most important thing. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you. And we're going to be using a little website that's called just a fast track website. And you're seeing these words right here. It says phase one. I just want you to know that phase one is really the foundation of the lifestyle. Oh, hello on Facebook, Mary and Barbara and Melanie and Donna and whoever else might be watching on Facebook. Hello to you too. Phase one really is the foundation of the program. You're never going to really be out of phase one. And there's no real reason to concern yourself about getting out of phase one. Hey, Sheila on Facebook. So phase one is the foundation of the program. But you're going to see in the food library where it says things like phase two cereals or phase two soups. You're going to see things like that. Well, all that means is that we are opening up the inner aisles of the grocery store to you. Now, are those better for you? Not necessarily. So I'm not saying that phase two is something to strive after, okay? Because phase one is really like us combining whole food combinations all together and learning all of that. But we do know that this is a lifestyle and you need to know what other things you can eat. And you're going to find out tonight that Shibboleth does not discriminate against foods. If it works, we're going to tell you it works and how it works. But if you don't like those certain things, or you don't do things that have a preservative in them, or you don't do something that has an artificial sweetener, or you don't like the way a certain quality of food that is on there, you don't have to eat it. You don't have to eat anything on Planet Shibboleth that you don't like. We're going to teach you everything you can eat. You then choose the quality of the food. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. But you will have access to this website after this. It is already in the Shibboleth website underneath this video. So you'll be able to find that right there. So what I'm going to do tonight is I am going to read the foods that are listed in each one of these categories. Now, this is obviously still a very tiny list of foods. The food library has thousands of food options in it. And that's one of the most, my most favorite things is the food library, to see what all is in there and how I can eat it. And I've always wondered about certain things in the grocery store. Well, now I don't have to wonder. I just look at it in the food library and see if it's in there. So what I'm going to do tonight, because one of the most important things that you can do is to start to familiarize yourself with foods that are in each category, is I'm going to read the category as we come to a new category. I'm going to go over fats briefly one more time, and I'm going to go over condiments because we didn't even go over condiments last night. So I'm going to go over the condiments. And then we're going to get to looking at all of these different combinations. Now, last night, I did tell you that I was going to ask you some questions tonight, and ever so often I would say, I hope that you write this down. So I have your first question tonight. Your first question is, which categories, there are 5 of them, which 5 categories did I say that you could eat all by themselves? You don't even have to combine them at all. What 5 categories can you eat by themselves? And you can type that in on Facebook if you're watching on Facebook, but in the chat, please type that in for me. You can eat freebies by themselves. Yes, you can, but there were 5 categories that we went over last night that you can eat alone without even having to combine them. Excellent. Yes, thank you, Heather and Steve and Debbie and Beth. Awesome. And yep, that looks good too, Judy. Fantastic. Yep, and Robbie says all but 3 and 5. Good. I love the way that y'all are applying that and learning that. Excellent. Okay, so category 1, lean protein. Hey, Tiani on Facebook, you can have that all by itself. So you can have 2 to 8 ounces. That's really a guideline. Now, have I ever measured this? No, I've never measured it. I just use my one hand as my lean protein source. This is how much I can do of lean protein. So that's what I do. But if you do want to measure, 2 to 8 ounces is a good guideline. Egg whites are here. All fish is here. Chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head chicken breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, Hebrew National 97% lean beef franks, if you do one of them, and 96% lean ground meat. So that could be chicken, beef, or turkey. So any of these things are considered category 1 lean proteins. And I'm not sure if you've made it to the spot in the laps where you get to print that worksheet out or not, but if you are taking notes, right at the top of your paper, category 1 lean protein, and just start jotting down the ones that you hear tonight that you like, because it's very important that you familiarize yourself with the ones that you like that are in these categories. So I'm going to go over a little bit of these things right here. Low-fat cottage cheese and fat-free cottage cheese are a category 1, but if you eat 2% cottage cheese or full-fat cottage cheese, they're a protein plus fat. So the difference is how much fat's in them. The reason that boar's head is listed is because we know that it's a very lean meat, but there are other category 1 lean protein deli meats. So you just want to check them all out in the food library. Now, those of you that have a Fast Track membership, you don't have access to the big giant food library. And I would absolutely love for you to have the big giant food library. It makes a difference. Okay. If you decide that you would like access to that, your $10 that you paid to be a Fast Track member does get applied to the annual membership of $59.95, and it would only be $49.95. Okay. So just let y'all know that. And then pork tenderloin is here, but your pork chops and pork ribs and things like that are going to be a protein plus fat. When you do a pork tenderloin, if there is any visible fat on it, please go ahead and trim that off though. Okay, so cooking oils or healthy fats. Up to 1 tablespoon is the amount that you wouldn't want to go over. You can use less than a tablespoon, but you wouldn't want to go over more than 1 tablespoon. So 100% MCT oil is our #1 recommended cooking oil. And it's because it has almost no propensity to be stored on your body as fat. It burns up like that. And it's because it burns up so fast, it has a thermogenic effect, which will help you burn a few extra calories. All right. Now you're going to hear me say really great things about MCT oil, but I never want you to think there's any reason for you to have to get it in. You don't have to get it in. It is used for 3 reasons only in our world. We live on planet Shibboleth now, and you are a citizen of planet Shibboleth, and we use MCT oil for 3 reasons. Cooking in a pot or a pan if you need to cook some chicken or a lean beef patty or something like that in a pan or a pot. Recipe. You can use it in recipes, and you can make salad dressings with it. But you're going to hear a lot of information out there because there's always somebody trying to sell you something. And MCT oil is one of those things, but they may not be in the same nutritional situation we're in. We're in the nutritional situation of wanting to burn excess body fat, and using MCT oil properly will help you do that. But it does still have calories in it, so you don't want to use it in ways that aren't beneficial to you during this time. The second most recommended oil is coconut oil. It is 60%, 66% MCTs. Ghee butter, which is a clarified butter, it's about 40%, maybe 45% MCTs. You could use hemp oil, but there's not a whole bunch of MCTs in there. It's kind of a wellness thing. And then you could use 0-calorie cooking spray. If I am cooking meat or egg whites or something from this category 1 list, I'm going to use MCT oil. But when I'm using a protein plus fat, I will use 0-calorie cooking spray. So MCT oil has a muscle preserving effect, and it has a metabolism building effect. So that's why it's really important. We do want to preserve our muscles while we are in a calorie deficit trying to access and burn stored fat. So this MCT oil is very important to our weight loss journey. I like the Zero Drag brand at the Shibboleth store. Let's see what this question is. This available at the grocery store? Yes, it is. Now, Debbie, I do prefer the one from the Shibboleth store because it has the fewest calories in it that I've seen of any MCT oil. It has 100 calories per tablespoon, where all other MCT oils that I've seen have 130 calories per tablespoon. And I don't want any extra random calories. But yes, you can buy it at any grocery store that you can find it in, that it says 100% medium chain triglycerides as the ingredients. You also want to make sure that it does say on the bottle that you purchase that you can cook with it. Keep in mind that it has a low smoke point, so you will want to cook on low to medium heat so it doesn't set off your smoke detector. Okay, so let's have a look at condiments now. I didn't even go over condiments last night, but condiments are important because we need condiments on certain foods to make them taste like they're supposed to and all of that. So because so many things can be used as a condiment, and we don't have absolutely every single one of those things in the food library, there's a rule around condiments. And I'm going to give you a real life example that I just had happen at the grocery store after I read off these condiments. Let's see, Carol says, does the cholesterol content compare for MCT versus coconut oil? I would have to look at that specifically, but there's going to be cholesterol in both of them. But honestly, if you are changing up your dietary habits to this, it is going to actually help with that, regardless of what the cholesterol count is of this. So I don't want that to be a hindrance to you. Okay, Carol, I would go ahead and do that because changing up everything else is going to make this not be a problem. So you should be good. But otherwise, we'd have to look at it because I don't know the exact answer right now. Okay, so some condiments. Obviously, 0-calorie condiments are best because you can use whatever you want to of those. 15-calorie or less spices and seasonings, salt and pepper. And if you're a coffee drinker, 15-calorie or less coffee creamers, salsa, salsa, reduced sugar ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. Now, again, that's a tiny, tiny list. Lots of things can be used as condiments. So a real life example was I went into the store the other day to buy some pizza sauce. I usually buy the Classico traditional pizza sauce. I was normally buy that at Kroger, but I went into Publix and they didn't have it. So, but they had 6 other types of pizza sauce. So now the question is, how do I determine which one of these pizza sauces is going to work for a shibboleth condiment? So we have a rule. The rule is you're going to look at the ingredients list and you're going to look for 2 things. You're going to look at the sugar content. You want to make sure that it has 5 grams of sugar or less per serving and 2 grams of fat or less per serving. And then with any condiment on any meal, you do not want to have more than 50 calories worth of condiments on a meal. You could have 50 calories worth of condiments at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but keep in mind to be a little choosy with your condiments because over a week's time, that does add up to be 1,050 calories in condiments. And we're trying to get into a calorie deficit of how many calories are in a pound of fat? Y'all tell me that. Y'all should have written that down last night too. That's right, Debbie. 35. That's right, Steve, Heather. Awesome. Awesome. There's 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. So if we're trying to get into a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories and we're adding, thank you, Judy and Robbie, thank you. And we are adding 1,050 random calories to our diet over the course of a week, we're slowing ourselves down a little bit. But I know that sometimes we need those condiments to make that meal taste like it should. So I would just be a little bit choosier with them. I basically found I didn't need to slap a piece of cheese on everything that I ate. And so that would eliminate some calories there. And I've just become more choosy with my calories and my condiments. But if it needs it, use it, you can. So but we call this the 5, 2, and few. It's like a sprinkle, 5, 2, and few rule. So what I did in the grocery store was I turned all 6 of those pizza sauces around to the ingredients label and I started scanning them. And I looked for the sugar content first. If it had more than 5 grams of sugar in it, I just turned that one around because I don't even need to look at the fat. It doesn't meet the sugar part. Then I looked at the fat content. And then if it had more than 2 grams of fat, I just turned it around. I didn't need it. It left me with 2 choices after doing that. And then I just made a decision on which one I was going to buy. I bought the one with the cutest jar. But anyway, so that's how you wouldn't do that. You have the 5, 2, and few rule. So that if you're going to use multiple condiments on a meal, all the condiments would need to meet the 5 and 2 part. And you just wouldn't want to use more than 50 calories of condiments. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you make a 96% lean ground beef patty. So that would be a category 1. And you can cook that up in MCT oil if you want to as well. And then maybe you want to put a slice of cheese on there, but the cheese that I use is a 30-calorie cheese. It's the Borden fat-free singles. They're really good. So I use that cheese. There's about 30 calories in there. And then I used some mustard. There's no calories in mustard, so I can use that. And then I have 20 calories worth of ketchup to play with. And you get all the flavors that you need. You're just not soaking it in condiments, okay? So what this row is telling you is that you can take something from this category, cook it up in the appropriate oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you would have an excellent fat-burning meal. Now, this right here, see this flame with this plus sign? This means that it's excellent for fat burning. Now, with this lean protein, this still doesn't mean that you're going to fill up 2 hands with lean protein. It's still just the 1 serving of it, okay? So that's why sometimes you can add our fibrous carb over here. So now we're going to speed up just a little bit. Okay, Beth, I love those smiley faces. So we got category 7, shellfish, crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. So all of those are in shellfish, but I also want to make sure that you are aware that not everything that lives in the ocean has a shell, if it's not a fish. So like, for example, octopus, it does not have a shell, but it still would be in this shellfish category, okay? All fish is in just the regular lean protein category, but category 7 shellfish, it's shellfish or anything that's not fish that lives in the ocean or the river or water. So you can have 2 to 8 ounces. Now, last night I explained that category 7 shellfish is really just a what? It's really just a, y'all fill in the blank. That's right, Debbie. That's right, Steve. Awesome. Awesome. It's really just a lean protein. So good job, Judy. When somebody says to you, oh, you're going to need to have a lean protein with that, you can have it from category 1 or category 7. They're both lean proteins. But if you are not a shellfish eater, you don't even need to concern yourself with category 7s. Okay, so what this row right here is saying is that you can eat shellfish by itself. You can cook it up in the right oils, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you would have an excellent fat burning meal. We're going to scroll down and we're going to touch on hemp products real quick. I am not going to go into these hard and heavy tonight because this is not a focus in the beginning, but there is a video. If you're working your way through the laps, the Shibboleth laps, the 7 laps, part of the video, one of the tasks on lap 6, I think, is to look through some videos and familiarize yourself with how to find videos on certain topics. And one of them is I have you look for the hemp, search for hemp. Hemp is really good for you appropriately, but I'm not going to go into all that tonight, but I am going to explain this part. HHF, HH stands for hemp hearts and HF stands for hemp flakes. That's why we just called it HHF. So hemp hearts are a category 6 superfood. What did I say last night qualified a food to be a superfood? It has all what in it? That's right, Judy. It's got all the macronutrients in it. Yep. It's got all 4 macronutrients. So a superfood has water in it. It's got protein, carbs, and fat in it. So hemp flakes are a superfood. Hemp hearts are. Hemp flakes are a defatted hemp heart. So what it's left with, you got your water left, but you took the fat out of it, you're left with protein and a good fibrous carb. So hemp flakes are actually a category 1 and 2 together. Category 1 and 2 together. There's not a lot of things that are multiple categories together, but there are a few. And I just like to point that out when we do have one. So what that means to you when something is a category 1 and a category 2, and there are some things that are category 1, 2, and 3 together. But what that means to you in this particular case is there's enough protein and enough fiber in this to be a 1 and a 2 together. You could also use very sweet hemp flakes. Those have a little bit of maple syrup added. Hemp protein powder, that's just a powder version of the hemp flakes, and hemp oil. So Steve is asking, how would you use HHF? So honestly, a lot of people just sprinkle it on their food. So it would be just an addition to this. Travis likes to put hemp flakes in his eggs. So I haven't ever done that before, but he actually uses the sweet hemp flakes in his eggs. Personally, I use them like this. The hemp hearts, I will put those on a salad. So maybe I take a baby spinach leaf, base of a salad, cut up some cucumbers and some colorful bell peppers, and then I'll put some hemp hearts on there as my superfood. It would be a protein source, it would be a healthy fat source, and it would be an extra fiber source. So that's how I would use that. Hemp flakes, a lot of people will put those in the Greek plain yogurt and maybe put a few berries in there. We'll actually get to a few minutes how you could do that. And that would make a little parfait. So you could do it that way. But I'm a little silly. Yep, Judy just says right here, hemp flakes and yogurt. I actually put the very sweet hemp flakes, about 3 tablespoons of it, in a little bowl, and I will have like a piece of chicken breast right here, and then I'll have my hemp flakes in a bowl, and I just eat them with a spoon like they're a little cereal. They're really that tasty to me. You have to taste them and see if you like them first. But what this row is telling you is that you can take something from this category, something from these hemp category, to cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you would have an excellent fat burning meal. So then we're going to scroll down and look at this next row. Simply, this was just saying you could do the same thing with shellfish. You can do the same thing with shellfish. Now, you don't have to take as long as I did to come around to hemp products. It took me about 6 months to try my first hemp product, but now that I have, I do like them. I like them a lot. So you don't have to take that long to try them, but I'm one of those people. I was having everything else down, and once I got all that other stuff down, I incorporated the hemp products. So you could do that. And Beth says, I've used hemp flakes in my ump shake. Is that okay? You don't really need to do that. I would not do that, Beth, because a ump shake is a meal replacement and it has all of the macronutrients that you need in it. So you're just really adding some extra calories to that you don't need. So I would use them very purposefully to go with a meal, but I wouldn't just add them to a shake. Heather, you can find some hemp products at the grocery store. We do sell them at our little Shibboleth store in Kennesaw and in Dalton and online, but you can find some at the grocery store as well. And all you have to do, Heather, is go into if you've got the full membership, you can go in and look up hemp, and it will show you the different brands that are already approved that people have already asked about, and you can see those. But yes, you can find them at the grocery store as well. Sometimes we have some samples of those at our store, so you may want to come in and just pick up a little sample. And they do some little sample bags for free, so they send them to us occasionally. Okay, so now we have come to a new category, category 2. So as I'm reading these out, if you like some of these things, please list them out on your favorite category 2s. So you can have half a cup up to 1 cup. Really, half a cup is better in a weight loss mode, all right? So broccoli, asparagus, squash, okra, green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, dill pickles. So all of those are some simple category 2s. There's a lot more in the food library, but just to kind of get you started. So about half a cup would be weight loss, but I just use my hand. I just put it under this hand right here. I have my lean protein source under this hand. I do my fibrous carb under this hand. And that's the way to go. Now, to make your fastest fat burning combination, you would take something that you could cook, because I'm going to talk about MCT oil, something that you could cook from category 1 and category 2 and use MCT oil with it. That makes your fastest fat burning combination. Do you know that we call category 1 and category 2 exercise on a plate, especially the ones that are like chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, that aren't pre-digested, and they require a lot of calorie burn in the digestion process. So let's say that you take chicken breast and broccoli. Your body has to expend energy breaking down the protein in the chicken breast and the fiber in the broccoli. In fact, it's so much calorie burn that it's really like a negative calorie meal, because if you're just having, let's just say 250 calories or so in that, and then you add a little bit of MCT oil with which helps you burn a few extra calories, you may get 300 calorie burn in that, which is really great because the food that you ate burned itself off in the digestion process. That's called exercise on a plate. You didn't have to get on the treadmill to do that. So I love exercise on a plate. Now, obviously, you won't take low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, and add any MCT oil and stuff to it, okay? But you could take your hemp flakes up there and put them in those, or maybe you make yourself an egg white spinach omelet. So that type of thing. So does everybody see something, just at least one thing that you would pick from category 1 and category 2 and put together and eat as a meal? Y'all give me some thumbs up if you see something that you would put together from category 1 and category 2. Okay, good, Debbie. Awesome. Awesome. Yes, Keisha says, can you eat more than one on category 2? Beth, I'm glad to see that you see something you'd put together. Yay, Heather. Awesome. Judy, Harriet, Robbie. Good. Awesome. Okay. So Keisha has a really great question. Can you have more than one category 2s? Yes. You're just still gonna use your portion amount. Okay. So let's take our hands, put our lean protein source here, and then you could do one fibrous carb here and another fibrous carb here if you wanted to. Also, where this comes in very, very handy is if you are making let's say you're making a sandwich and you use a category 2 bread, which isn't currently in this list, but we're going to touch on those in a minute. And you make yourself a category 1 sandwich and you put some lettuce on there. Well, lettuce is a category 2. And then you've got your category 2 bread. And then let's just say that you ate some bell peppers or some cucumbers as a side item. That would actually be 3 category 3s. That works too. So you still just want to remember your portion control. Okay, so what this means is you're going to pick something from this category and something from this category, cook it up in the appropriate oil if you need it, doctor it up with the right condiments, and have an excellent fat burning meal. So one of the things that I've been enjoying lately is I'll take a category 2 tortilla. I take the Olay Extreme Wellness High Fiber Tortilla, and I've been taking the Laughing Cow, the wedge cheese. They come in that round container, but they're little wedges. I put that on my tortilla, and I put some lean deli meat and some lettuce, but I sprinkle all of that with the Everything Bagel seasoning. It's absolutely delicious. And that is a category 1 plus 2 plus condiment, because the little cheese wedge is my condiment. The Everything Bagel seasoning doesn't count really as much of anything. It's just a seasoning. So that's a 1 plus 2 plus condiment. Let's see. Beth says, I've done the 96% ground beef with fried cottage cheese. Fried cottage cheese. That's interesting. Now, obviously, the cottage cheese that you are using, fat-free. I thought we were coming up with something new, Beth. Okay, so 96% lean ground beef with fat-free cottage cheese. That's just a 1. It's just a 1. And when you're journaling, that's just 1, because it's all a category 1 lean protein. Yep. Okay, so we're going to scroll up, and this right here says category 7 shellfish. We've already read that. We've already read category 2, so you can see the pattern here. If you like shellfish, do you see something that you would put together from this list and this list if you like shellfish? If you don't like shellfish, don't worry. You don't have to eat it. Awesome. Beth sees something that she'd put together. Heather says yes. Robbie says yes. Awesome. Okay, so y'all are seeing how this works. Okay, we're going to come down here and we're going to look at a new thing. Judy, yes. Debbie says, I guess fried shrimp isn't on the menu. Well, guess what? If you wanted to take some shrimp and you tossed that in some Carb Quick, which is a category 2 fibrous carb breading, you can fry that up in MCT oil. Now, obviously, you wouldn't want to fry it on a high heat because it'll set off your smoke detector, but you can fry that up in the MCT oil. Carb Quick is a category 2 fibrous carb. That would be a 1 and a 2 in MCT. That actually works, Debbie. you could put that in your air fryer as well. Yes, yes, you can. Oh, we can figure out how to do anything. Yep, Harriet, I just said that. Yep, you can put it in your air fryer. So that works. Yes. The Carb Quick, I think you can get it at Walmart. I'm not sure. I buy it from the Shibboleth store just because I like to support the little ministry. But I think you can find it at Walmart. Yes. Yes, for sure you can get Carb Quick at the Shibboleth store, but you might can get it from Walmart. You also can get it from Amazon. And by the way, if you do buy something from Amazon and you go through one of our links in the food library to buy it, Shibboleth will get, depending on what it is, if it's a real big item, we get 2%, 2 pennies on the dollar. If it's a smaller item, we get 4 pennies on the dollar. It kind of helps the ministry because we do run this as a ministry. Obviously, you know, it doesn't cost very much to get into Shibboleth. So anything that you can do to help us helps the ministry and helps us keep our prices low. Yeah, and Beth is saying that the Shibboleth store is awesome and it gets it to you very, very quick. My mother said the same thing. She orders and then it's there just within a couple of days. So you can order that online if you want to, but you can get it at other places as well. I think I've heard Walmart. I've never bought it there. Okay, so now we have a new category, category 6, superfood. We've already talked about the fact that all 4 macronutrients are in here, and we've got pintos are here. And please write anything down that you might like. Pintos, black beans, red beans, soybeans, peanut butter, actually all nut butters, nuts and seeds. Avocados are also here. So if you are eating some of these beans by themselves, because you can eat a category 6 superfood by itself, you could do 1 cup up to 1.5 cups. But if you are eating this as a component of a meal, you're not going to want to go up that much. It won't fit underneath your hands, okay? But if you're eating it by itself, you could do that. And in the food library, it will tell you on every single item how much you should be eating of that item. It will tell you that. So category 6 superfood, doctored up with the right condiments. Let's see, assuming measurements for 6 are all cooked. Yes, cooked. Okay, so what do you notice right here about this plus sign here? Oh, and by the way, these plus signs do not mean we're doing math. It just means we're putting these things on our plate together. That's right. There's no burn there. There's missing the fire. There's no flame there. Okay. All that means, that does not mean that we're out of efficient fat burning if we eat that. That does not mean that. But part of my job is to start to teach you the nuances between things. So all of those other things that we went over that had the flame, that just means those are excellent for fat burning. I just want to tell you, this is still great for fat burning, but those others are more excellent for fat burning. Okay. So it's just a little nuance, and those nuances are important. So you can eat category 6 superfood and doctor it up in the right condiments. What else do you not see right here? What column is now missing? That's right, Keisha, missing the fire. What else is missing? What column is gone? That's right. The oils are gone. Yeah, Debbie, the lean protein's not there anymore. You're right. But you could have a lean protein with a 6, but the condiments are still there. Yeah, I got you, Steve. Keisha, the oil, and Beth said the oil. The oils are gone. Now, I want to explain what that means. If you needed to cook a superfood in 0-calorie cooking spray, you could still use that. You can use water, you can use fat-free broth and all of that. But those other oils that are fattier, they're gone because there's more carbs in the superfoods, and they've got fat in them too. You don't need the fats with it. It's got good fats already in it, and it's got carbs in it, which we don't want it to collect any of these other fats. So that's why that is there. I gotcha. Okay. So category 6 plus a category 2. So we've already read this and we've already read this. Now you still want to maybe back down your superfood amount just a little bit if you're also going to have a category 2 fibrous carb with that. But you can eat a category 6 with a category 2, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you'll have a great fat burning meal. Now, I do want to let you know that this is where you will find a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Does anybody like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? If you do, this is where they are. Superfood, you'll have your nut butters, okay, your approved peanut butter or nut butter. Yes, that's right. That's awesome, Heather. And then you're going to pick a category 2 fibrous carb bread. Obviously, it's not in this list because we were pretty much talking about vegetables here. We're going to talk about some category 2 fibrous carb breads in just a second. And then your condiments, this is where you would find your sugar-free jelly, okay? And if you don't like sugar-free jelly, there is a jelly or a jam called Good Good Jam, and it's sweetened with stevia. So you could use that. That is your peanut butter as your superfood. You pick a category 2 fibrous carb bread, and you pick the appropriate approved jelly for your condiment. You've got peanut butter and jelly. And we have a member named Nikki Kyle who lost 92 pounds, and she had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. She still does every single day. So, so that definitely works. This is where you find a peanut butter and jelly. So we're going to scroll down a little bit more. We have come to a new category. So if you hear things you like, please write them down in your category 4 list. So this is a protein plus fat. You can have 2 to 6 ounces. Now, do you see how the ounces went down just a little bit? The others were 2 to 8 ounces. Well, now again, I've never really measured these. I just use my hand, but it's important to know, and it has helped me in restaurants when they said, do you want a 6-ounce steak or an 8-ounce steak? Okay, I'm gonna pick the 6-ounce steak, obviously, because it's a protein plus fat. But the reason that you want to eat a little bit less of this is because in 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, but in 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So you're going to be getting a few extra calories here. So you'll be getting about the same amount of calories, even though you choose to eat just a little bit less of it. So 2 to 6 ounces on your protein plus fat. But again, I've never measured it. I just put it under my hand and go because I don't like to have to measure. But if you're a measurer, it's important to know that. Okay, whole eggs are here. All of your cuts of steak are here. Pork ribs, beef ribs, turkey spam, pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat, and turkey kielbasa, as long as no more than 50% of the calories come from fat. So you never want more than 50% of your calories to come from fat on a protein plus fat. So that's why we put that little notation there. 93% lean up to 95%, 95.9% lean is a category 4. Your 96 and above is a lean protein. But if it is less than 93% lean in a ground meat, it is not approved for a perfect day. Here's why. It's packaging. They make you think that it's lean the way that they package it and say it, but it's really not lean. Okay. Basically, what they've done is they've taken some fat and added a little bit of meat to it if it's less than that. So we don't want to do that on a perfect day. Carol, it does not matter. That does not matter if you drain the fat when you cook it. It does not matter. So nope. Keisha, I'm not understanding your question. But yeah, draining the fat does not change the leanness of it, Carol. All right. And Keisha, if you don't mind rephrasing that, what do you cook it in? Oh, okay. You can cook this in a 0-calorie cooking spray. You can cook it in water. I know some people cook stuff in water. I've never done that, but a 0-calorie cooking spray. That's right. We do not cook. We don't cook category 4s with MCT, Steve. Right. Right. Okay. Because you've already got some fat, you don't need to add fats to it. So I would use a 0-calorie cooking spray here. So let's go kind of back up through here. So turkey spam. I always like to just make note of this turkey spam. You might be thinking, gross, that's nasty. And you know what? We are not promoting that you use turkey spam. What we are doing is we are being non-discriminatory. You know, there's a lot of lifestyles out there that you could be a part of that are going to pigeonhole you into one type of item. You know, it's all about this type of food. You don't eat anything else. Shibboleth is going to teach you how to eat anything and everything you want to if it's approved. And we'll tell you if it'll work or not. If it doesn't work, we will say it won't work. Turkey Spam will work. Now, is it the healthiest for you? Probably not. But if you want to eat it, and it will help you, and it'll help you lose weight. So this is the way I like to explain this. If you are a grass-fed, grass-finished type person, and that's the quality that you want to buy and you can afford to buy, then go for it, because that's going to be better for you. But if you're on a budget, or you just happen to like Turkey Spam and that's what you're going to buy, then go ahead. It will work for you. Okay. There's a lot of toxins that are stored in fat. And we start getting stored fat off of our body, we also start getting rid of a lot of toxins. Okay. So I just kind of make um, a deal about talking about Turkey Spam, because we're not promoting it. It's just, it works if you want to use it. All right. Canned tuna in water does count as fish, Carol. Yes. Yes, it does. And then that's all there. Okay. So just as a application question, and you should remember, because y'all answered this earlier, can you eat category 4 by itself? Yes. Awesome. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So let's say that you just wanted to get up and make yourself some whole eggs, make some scrambled eggs. You got it. Just make it. And remember how I gave that luncheon example yesterday, that sometimes I go to luncheons and they have all these sides that are going to bring the fat bus, and I'll take the meat and I'll just eat the meat, and that works out fine. But the reason that's important to know, and you're not in that situation all of the time, but you might find yourself in that situation and you'd want to know that you could do that. So let's see. Laura said, sorry, you might have said this, but what does 5-2 and few mean? So the 5-2 and few rule is how we choose whether a condiment would work, or something could work as a condiment. So as long as the item that you want to use as a condiment has 5 grams of sugar or less per serving, and 2 grams of fat or less per serving, and you're not going to use more than 50 calories of condiments on a meal, then you're good to go on the condiments. So that just means that you're looking for 5 grams of sugar or less and 2 grams of fat or less. Now, if you want a little trick to remember which one is which, the word sugar has 5 letters. So 5 grams. Okay, Beth says, I don't like egg whites as my breakfast. Is my weight loss going to be? No, not necessarily. Beth, you just, with the category 4s, I mean, I pretty much don't do egg whites either, but I'm not going to eat a category 4 whole egg with anything from the category 3, 5, or 6. But no, it won't slow it down. But if you want to have a 3 or a 5 or a 6, then you'd want to use egg whites. There's where the difference is. Okay, so optimally, you can eat 4 by itself, but optimally you would eat it with a category 2. And then doctor it up with the right condiment. How many whole eggs is a serving? 2 really for ladies, and a men could go up to 3. All right, now we have come to a brand new category, energy carb. Ding, ding, ding. I want you to be thinking right now, ding, ding, ding. Energy carb. She has trained me to know that I must combine this properly, okay? So an energy carb, your amount that you should eat is about 1/4 of a cup. Now, you're going to use the 2-hand rule. The 1/4 of a cup is going to be sitting about right there, okay? So let's just say we put our energy carb right here. But when you get to maintenance, if you want to try 1/2 cup and see if that works for you, you can. But in weight loss, let's stick with 1/4 of a cup. White potato, sweet potato, oatmeal, steel cut oats, weight control oatmeal. I think it's called fiber and protein now, but anyway, it's a Quaker oat. Long grain brown rice, not white rice. It's not approved. Quinoa, lima beans, actually all your beans. Peas, all peas. Tomato, onions, carrots, whole wheat pasta, whole grain pasta. I'm going to start at the bottom. Whole wheat pasta and whole grain pasta. Personally, I wouldn't eat them. The reason being is that you get 1/4 of a cup. We have some better pasta options for you where you get more. So for example, if you are using the Explore Cuisine pasta, you get up to a cup. I would prefer that. Now, that would be like if you're making a full meal, you still might not want to do a full cup if you're doing all of this, just because it'd be over the portion. But if you're making a spaghetti or something, you can use a full cup of it. So personally, I would use that. We also have one called the carbonara pasta. It's a category 1, 2, and 3 together. Remember how I said that there was a few things that are a 1, 2, and 3 together? And what that means to you is that it's got enough lean protein, enough fiber, but it's also got enough energy carb in it too to be a 1, 2, and 3 together. But with the category 3s, you do not want to eat anything that has fat in it with it. So that's why you're not going to see any 4s with this. And Beth's saying carbonara is great. Yes, it is. That sells out like crazy. We also, oh my goodness, we have some Fiber Gourmet category 2 linguine, elbows, rotini, and all of that at the Ciabola store. The Fiber Gourmet, it's a category 2 pasta. It is amazing. Okay, so let's talk about carrots real quick. When carrots are cooked, they're definitely a category 3 energy carb. But if you want to eat a few raw carrots as a freebie just to tide you over, then you could do that, and you would be calling them a freebie if they were raw and you were using them as a freebie. But if they are cooked, they've changed the content, the sugar content, and you have to call them a category 3. Tomato and onions. If you are using enough tomato or enough onion to be at least a quarter of a cup, you want to make sure that you're combining it properly. But if you're just using a thin little slice of tomato or a thin little slice of onion as a condiment on a burger or a chicken breast or something like that, you can use it as a condiment. But if you're eating enough of it that it's a quarter of a cup or more, you want to make sure you combine it properly. All of your peas are here and your lima beans, except for that one little thing that's a garbanzo bean and a chickpea. He just took both names, didn't he? He's actually a superfood. So this is why it's really important. And one of the tasks, I think it's on lap 3, is for you to start to familiarize yourself with the food library. But what I want you to do first is a brainstorming activity. I want you to write down absolutely everything that you like to eat as quickly as possible and think about that. Because then you're going to look them up in the food library and then you're going to write down what they are. Because ever so often, there's a bean that's a lighter bean. Oh, by the way, I said something wrong a second ago. I want to correct myself. Most of your lighter colored beans are in this category. Your darker colored beans are a superfood. But the reason I was going into all of that is because a garbanzo bean is a lighter colored bean. I just wanted to make that distinction. So ever so often there's a light colored bean that's a superfood. This is why it's important to know what you like and have looked that up so that you'll know the things that you like and can combine them properly. So, okay, so let's do the science again. Got to do the science again. You're going to eat an energy carb. The energy carb is going to increase your blood sugar. It's going to elevate your blood sugar. Your pancreas is going to secrete some insulin to come out and regulate blood sugar. Well, we want to eat in a way that controls insulin because we don't want insulin hanging out in our body. We want insulin to be dissipated and go away. So we're going to know, now that we know to do this, we're going to eat a lean protein and a fibrous carb with that. The protein and the lean protein and the fiber and the fibrous carb are going to help break down and dissipate, neutralize the insulin that came out to deal with that blood sugar elevation from the energy carb. So that's the science behind that. And that is why you will be doing what you're doing with that. Also, there's no fat in this. So there's no fat really in a lean protein. If there is, it's negligible. There's no fat in the fibrous carbs and there's no fat in energy carbs. And you also don't see the oils on here. If you wanted to use a 0-calorie cooking spray, water, or broth to cook stuff, you could here. So I hope that's making sense. Beth, you doing good? You learning to combine tonight? I hope so. Okay, so ding, ding, ding. We've got another one. Category 5 fruit. We want to make sure that we combine this properly. So I'm going to call out 4 of these. All fruit is in fruit, but berries, apples, oranges, and grapefruit are really your best for weight loss if you are looking to add fruit. Now, keep in mind that one of the differences between the two modes, we have weight loss mode and maintenance mode. And one of the differences was how you eat fruit. When you are in weight loss mode, fruit must be combined properly. Once you get to maintenance, if you're having a meal, you should still combine fruit properly, but you could also choose to have a serving of fruit for a snack in a day if you wanted to. So, same science behind it, so I'm not going to go over that again. But let's say that you want to have a small orange. Well, maybe you make an egg white spinach omelet, and or maybe you have some low fat cottage cheese, and then maybe you have a piece of fibrous carb toast, and then you have a small orange. That would be a 1 and a 2 and a 5. Maybe you want to have an apple or a small apple as a dessert after a meal. Well, let's say that you have some turkey breast and have it with some green beans, which aren't on the list, but they are there. Green beans, and then you have an apple for dessert after. You could do that. So that would all be properly combined. And there's no flame behind these. They're still great for fat burning, but there's no flame behind these because you are bringing a slight insulin release that your body then has to deal with. And so it's just a smidge slower. So that's why there's no flame there. But all of these are also great for your lifestyle. You also want to remember that you're not always going to be eating. See, what we're going over tonight, if you went and looked back at your combination chart, not all of your meals are going to come from the red column every single day, all 3 meals, and not all of them are going to come from yellow and blue. So they're going to be switched up, and that's okay. You can use all of them. They're all good. You just might want to do a fewer of the blue ones in the beginning, but once or twice a week is not going to hurt you. But it also depends on how much you like to eat, what you like to eat, and it also depends on how quickly you want to get to where you're going. Okay, so now we're going to go over, y'all, I'm going to need about 5 minutes. I'm going to be about till 9:05. So category 2, breads, because I think it's really important for us to cover these items that are other items that go in these categories that people really want to know about. Category 2, breads. Less is best. So a 50-calorie tortilla, the La Tortilla Factory calorie tortilla is really great. I use the Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, the 50-calorie one. You could use Healthy Life bread. Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread has gone out of production. So that is not going to be something that you can use. They have a new bread. Jason showed that. Jason is one of our other teachers. He showed that in the Shibboleth Silver Level group as a live video, or no, the regular Shibboleth page last night. So you might want to see what that is. There's my dog. Bran Crisp bread. It's actually not a bread. It's a dry cracker, but they call it Bran Crisp bread. Healthy Life hot dog buns and Thomas Light 100-calorie English muffins. So you do not want more than 100 calories of bread in a meal. So the reason I say that is because if you look at this Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, they have some that are 50 calorie, but they also have some that are 80 calorie. Well, if you're making yourself a wrap and putting some deli meat and some lettuce and some other things in that wrap, and you do a little side item next to it, you're probably only going to eat one, and you could do an 80-calorie one if you wanted to. The reason you might want to do an 80-calorie one is because some of the 80-calorie ones are flavored, and you may like those flavors. But let's say that you're making the fat burning chicken enchilada recipe, which is delicious, by the way. Let's say that you're making that recipe. Well, everything that you're going to be eating is going inside of those tortillas, and you're probably going to eat 2 of them. And you would not want to use the 80-calorie tortillas with that recipe because that would be 160 calories, where you use the 50-calorie ones and you've still kept that at 100 calories. So you just don't want more than 100 calories of bread in a meal. So approved sweeteners: stevia, Splenda, monk fruit, xylitol. So really anything that's 0 calorie and is not going to have a glycemic impact will work. I always like to just touch base on the Splenda kind of the same way I did on the turkey spam. We're not promoting that you use it, but Shibboleth is an all-inclusive program. Now, if you are a person who likes to have divine days, is what we call them, all organic, non-genetically modified food, you live the Shibboleth lifestyle, but the food you choose would be organic and non-GMO. You would then choose and call that a divine day. So we do take into consideration all of that. It's just that we tell everybody what will work. It's your choice in the quality of the food and the types of food that you eat, as long as it's approved. So if you don't do Splenda, you just don't do it. Don't worry about it. So approved beverages, water. Remember, at least 64 ounces of water, which is 4 of these, but you are really shooting for a gallon. Please, if you're shooting for that gallon, you're going to be mentally and physically satisfied, and you're going to be a lot less hungry. 0 calorie beverages of any type work. They don't take the place of your water. Unsweet or approved tea, but they don't take the place of your water. And coffee with approved sweeteners, but they don't take the place of your water. So let's look at some other cheeses that you can use. You can use cheeses up to 50 calories as a condiment, fat-free feta cheese, Kraft fat-free cheese, Borden fat-free cheese, Cabot extra light cheese, Laura Lynn fat-free cheese, Kroger brand fat-free cheese, and Lifetime fat-free cheese. So Travis really likes the Lifetime fat-free cheese. He buys it from their website and has it sent to his house. So I like the Cabot extra light cheese and the Borden fat-free cheese. The Borden fat-free cheese is what I buy as the singles. I've never found it at Kroger. I buy it at Publix and at Ingles, but they've got Sharp and they've got American, and they melt well and they're really good. I made a pizza sandwich with them today. I'll tell you that in a minute about my pizza sandwich. The Cabot extra light cheese is a block cheese that I use when I'll shred a little bit of cheese over the top of my salad. But if you're using these as a component of a meal, the Cabot extra light cheese is actually a category 4. So if you like with the sound of that, go ahead and write it on your favorites for category 4. The rest of those are category 1s. Let me tell you about my pizza sandwich. I take 2 slices of bread, the Sara Lee 45 calorie delightful multigrain. I spray each side with, I can't believe it's not butter. I lay it on the griddle. I take that pizza sauce that I told y'all about buying. I put just a little bit on each side, no more than a condiment amount. I put 1 slice of Borden fat-free cheese on each side. And then I do 6, it's a total of 12, but 6 Boar's Head turkey pepperonis on there. And then I just let that cook until it's all yummy. And then I put that together and I have a pizza sandwich. That is actually a category 1, 2, 4, and condiment. And that is an approved combination. And it's delicious. And it's in the recipe library. And there's a video in the Fixed It group about how I make it. Okay, so let's have a look at these lean protein milks. The reason that it's important to know about these is because there are certain foods that you might be eating that you need a milk that's been fortified with protein. So you can do fat-free Fairlife milk, Kroger Carb Master milk, and you can do hemp milk. I don't know much about hemp milk, so I'm going to talk about these too. So if you are using them, they're actually category 1 lean proteins because they've got so much protein in them. They don't have any fat in them. And if you're using it as a component of a meal, then you could do 8 ounces. But if you're just wanting to drink a big old glass of milk before you leave the house to go out for the day, if you wanted to, you could have 16 ounces of it and call that a meal. You could do that. Now, if you like cereal, and there's a phase, remember how I talked earlier in the beginning, like phase 1 and phase 2? Phase 1 cereals are going to be the best cereals for weight loss. They're going to be the better ones for you. Phase 2 cereals include things like Captain Crunch, okay? So yes, there's Captain Crunch on Shibboleth. If you were going to eat a phase 2 cereal, one that's a little bit more starchy, like Captain Crunch, it must be eaten with a lean protein milk because you need the protein in that to offset the starchiness of that cereal. So that's why that's really important to know. So Keisha is asking about almond milk. So the almond milk that is approved is unsweetened. So it's unsweetened almond milk. It would have to be unsweetened. And you can have it with phase one cereals only. You would, if you're eating it with a cereal, Keisha. So it is a category 4. It's a category 4 protein plus fat. But if you're eating it with cereal, it would have to be a phase one cereal. It could not be with a phase two cereal because they're too starchy and they would collect the fat in the category 4 almond milk. So we talked briefly earlier about some breadings and flours to make some fried shrimp and stuff. Oh, and by the way, if you want to make shrimp scampi, you take the shrimp and you cook it up in ghee butter, and that gives you that. So coconut flour, Carb Quick flour, Bob's TVP, which is a textured vegetable protein, and almond flour. You can use all of those to flour things up, make cornbread with it. We've got this recipe called Perfect Cornbread that is delicious. And this Carb Quick, you can make muffins with it, pancakes with it. I make these garlic cheddar biscuits and use that as a category 2 side. Yes, imagine a biscuit as a side that works for fat burning. Yes. Now, Carb Quick is going to have some recipes on their box. Do not use the recipes on their box. Those were not, they did not take into account all of the other Shibboleth rules. And so cereals, Kashi Go Lean Original, K's Natural Cereal, and Hilo Nutritious Living. Now, these are all phase one cereals, so you could have almond milk with that if you wanted to, the unsweetened almond milk. But there's even a larger list of these phase one cereals. Watch this. When I click right here on Kashi Go Lean, that's going to take me over to the food library. And I'm going to come down here. Do you see where it says categories right here? I'm going to scroll down here to where it says phase one cereal, and I'm going to click right there. And there's all of the phase one cereals. So really cereals are still starchy, even the best of the best. But if you want to get the best cereals, like these are pretty much all -1s, but there are some zeros in here. So let's do this. Let's set our weight loss meter down to -1 to -3 and hit set. And that is going to eliminate the zeros. So right here are going to be the best cereals for weight loss. Okay, I'm not going to go over condiments again. In restaurants, I'm not going to go over all these either, but I do want to say that what you need to do, okay, Heather is asking, what is AHS? AHS stands for Advanced Health Systems, and it's just a brand, and it's a brand that we do sell at the Shibboleth store, and we have just found that they work really great for weight loss. They're designed and made for weight loss. So that's what that is. Advanced Health Systems also has some pancakes, little mixes, and it also has the macaroni and cheese, the cheesesteak pasta, and the fettuccine that also work at the Shibboleth store. Yep. So restaurants. So that's going to be that's going to be an eating situation that you are in at some point. Restaurants, you want to know how to do it. I can have an approved meal at any restaurant where I go, but I've also spent some time looking at the restaurant guide at the restaurants that I frequent the most often, and I've gone through there and I have read specifically how to order these foods. So for example, if I go to Zaxby's and I order a grilled chicken salad, I am not going to get the fried crunchy things or the Texas toast. And if the salad happened to have croutons on it, I wouldn't get those. But otherwise, without those, I can eat that salad just like they serve it. But also in the listing for that item, they're also going to tell you how to make it even better for weight loss if you want to know about that. So they list all those things out so that you are completely safe. But Chick-fil-A obviously is a really important, yeah, I guess it is. It's a really big restaurant people go to a lot. So you can do 8 to 12 grilled nuggets with a side salad. If you still want French fries, you're just going to save those for a holiday, okay? You can still have them. It's just a holiday. I actually found out I like their side salads quite a bit. And I am not a dressing person per se, but I do order their light Italian and I just drizzle it over the top. I eat that till it's gone. I drizzle a little bit more and I eat that till it's gone. And I don't use the whole thing. It really would drown it if you use the whole thing. If you are willing to give up 8 nuggets to get fried nuggets, then you can have 8 fried nuggets with a side salad. You can also have their grilled filet. You can have their fried filet. Yes, their fried filet. Not all fried fillets work at restaurants, but it does at Chick-fil-A. And their spicy fried filet. You're just not going to eat their bun. If you are a person that really needs or wants that thing like a bun to hold it onto, you're going to want to take your own bread or a tortilla in what we call a survival kit. And that's one of the videos that you're going to search for later in the week in one of the laps. You're going to search for survival kits. And I would love for you to watch that video on survival kits because it's having all of the things that you need with you to make sure that you fully enjoy that meal and that you like the lifestyle and keep that going for you. Okay, so Judy, let's see, Beth's first. Longhorn, a child menu sirloin with broccoli and salad with approved dressing. That's awesome. That's awesome, Beth. Great idea. So Judy says the kale side salad is in dressing, I think. Is that okay? Well, let's do this. Let's look this up. So I'm going to click on there because I know it takes me to the restaurants. And do you see how it even tells you how to order this in different ways if you want to affect your weight loss meter? I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A. The kale side salad, let's see. Okay, so it says kale crunch side salad. Let's click there. And it says how to make it approved. Well, first of all, it can be a snack or a perfect pairing item. I know that I'm going to blow your mind with this, but a perfect pairing item does not follow the rules, but it's still been determined by the team that it will work if you've eaten it in that way. So that's why it's called a perfect pairing. We have an entire food library listing on perfect pairings as well. There's so much to eat on Planet Shibboleth. I mean, there's so much. You can never run out of things. It's really applying the daily disciplines. But she goes, you can never run out of things to eat. And so how to make it approved. You can have the kale crunch salad as a +1 on the weight loss meter snack, or as a perfect pairing with 8-pack of grilled nuggets to make it a -1 weight loss meter category. This would be a category 1 +6 +2 plus condiment meal. And it says no added condiments because your condiment is the dressing on the salad. So that answers your question, Judy. You can have that. All right, so let's go back here real quick. And then the one thing that's missing right here that I really want y'all to be aware of is meal replacements. So I'm going to pop over to Facebook real quick and I am going to show you. I'm going to show you in the new member fast track group where to find my favorite list of meal replacements. So here is my favorite meal replacements. And what I did was I went into Facebook, the group, I clicked on this search icon, and then here's my 10 favorites. I've got links to them for you, and I even have how I eat them. So that's really important for you to know some meal replacements because I doubt seriously you're going to cook every single meal that you eat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're going to need some things. And if you were eating cereal and Pop-Tarts and other things before, then these things are like that. I mean, if you ever ate a candy bar for lunch, these things are like that. And you can still have that little quick and easy thing. Okay. So you want to make sure that you look over your meal replacements. So while I am with you, I'm going to show you where to mark off that you have done this webinar. So I clicked on my dashboard up top. I'm going to click on the fast track laps. I'm so proud of y'all that are working through the fast track laps. It is important and I love it. So thank y'all for doing that. So do you see right here where it says participate in the Monday night live webinar, Simple Food Combining? You can go in there now and click that off right there because you've done it. You have done it. And I can't wait for y'all to have another perfect day tomorrow. You're going to have another perfect day tomorrow, and that is going to get you into EFB, baby, on Wednesday. Efficient fat burning. let me tell you, you're going to love efficient fat burning because your body is going to have to access the stored energy that is on you in order to get its energy. And that's where your results come from. So just make sure that you are applying the 5 daily disciplines every single day, that you want it to be a perfect day. Declare your days in the morning. Go ahead and declare your day so that you're determining your day. You don't let your day determine you. I heard somebody one time, I said, what kind of day are you having today? She goes, oh, I don't know. I'm going to see what happens. I said, no, you don't see what happens. You make it happen. So she went, oh, okay. So you want to declare your day early. This is a perfect day and I'm going to get it right. You start getting your water in, you journal your foods, you combine foods in a way that control insulin. And I hope tonight helped. And every other little bit of information that you learn is just going to help build that framework of knowledge. It is a continuing education thing until you get it all figured out, and you will. And then you just continue living this lifestyle. You want to portion control and then just space your foods out, 4 to 6 hours apart, your meals. If in moments of mental weakness, you need a freebie, an extra, or a snack, you can do that too and still have a perfect day. So do y'all have any questions before I hop off? Otherwise, we are good. Good, Beth. Awesome. Awesome. If not, we're going to hop off. And I do hope to see you guys on the morning on the Shibby Show in the Shibboleth Facebook page. Please join me for that. You're welcome, Steve. You're welcome, Keisha. You're welcome, Debbie. Y'all are all very, very welcome. I am so happy to have found this. Keisha, in the mornings, Monday through Friday, I do this little show called the Shibby Show on the Shibboleth Public Facebook page, sometime in the 7 o'clock hour, because I go to work at 8 o'clock. This is not my actual job. I do this because I love it. Judy, thank you for the heart, Judy. Carol, you can email me questions, but Carol, it is best to talk to a mentor. That is what I would do. I would want you to set up an appointment with a mentor because I work another job Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and I may not get to your question as quick as the mentors who do, because they do this 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Now, and Carol, one of the best ways, if you've just got a quick question, is on the, in fact, I'm going to share my screen with y'all again and show you. Let me see. Oh, I didn't share my screen. Oh, yeah, I did. Darn it. Sorry. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, Carol, see this right here? This little green button? If you just have a quick question during the day, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., that is monitored by a person who can answer your question. Also, Carol, if you have Facebook, the silver level group, you've got you get over 8,000 members in that group that can help you. And the new member fast track group is monitored by mentors as well. You're welcome to email me anything. I just might not be able to get back to you because I do have another job Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Thank you, Keisha. I do hope you join me in the morning. Thank you, Tamara. All right, we are going to hop off, but I cannot wait to hear about your results this week. I appreciate it very much that y'all joined me on the second night. You're welcome, Carol. I just want you to have the best service, Carol. Not that I don't want to help. I just don't check emails for Shibboleth during the day. So, all right, y'all have a great day. Bye.